Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have another recap for you here today. We've got Chuck Michelle on, CRPA president and senior partner at Michelle and Associates. Thank you for coming on, Chuck. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Happy to get the word out.
So yeah, I mean, definitely want to circle around to some of these things that are continuously ongoing. You want to throw on the hashtag "We will not forget." Let's go ahead and start with the DOJ data leak. You know, the last time we were talking about it, you had kind of brought up the fact that it might actually be good for the community, and it would be an awesome thing to see a lot of individual lawsuits brought up in small claims court. Any update that we have on this leak in general, or where that could take us?
Yeah, the big discussion has been: is this a class action, or do people have to file lawsuits individually? And either way, what are the potential damages that someone can get for having their private information leaked? And the bottom line is, a lot of those questions they're not there's not a definitive answer for. The one thing that we have definitely figured out is that a class action is not going to work for everybody and may not work for most people, because in a class action, you might be able to get sort of nominal damages, a very low damage amount, if they can show that the leak was intentional. And now remember, intentional as a term of legal art has different meanings than you might think, conversationally. So there's a test for whether or not a leak was intentional, and that's going to be a fight too with the DOJ. But unless it's intentional, that opens the door to one level of damages. And then if we can show that you're entitled to recover for emotional distress, which is basically what everyone is feeling, because they now feel vulnerable because their private information, in particular their street address, has been leaked. And people need to remember, your name and the city you live in are public records. People have been able to ask for that for a long time. Various news outlets have done that. CBS, LA Times. In fact, they're doing it again. But because the data leak that came out through the DOJ it's on the dark web. It's not publicly available. So these news outlets may have a copy, but they can't use that. So they have to do public records requests, and they are right now, to certain sheriffs, to try and get a handle on who has CCWs. They want to dox us in a different way. They'll put your names out and publish them, and then hopefully your neighbors will shame you based on your name. The problem with the DOJ leak was not the names, as a matter of law, because there's a case, CBS v. Block, that says that is public information. That case may be challenged, but that's another segment. In the meantime, your street address, though, is private information and has never really been released as a matter of practice or a matter of public record in the past. So that's what was released with the DOJ data leak. And because of that, because people now feel, CCW holders now feel that bad guys can figure out where they live, that's the cause of the emotional distress. DOJ is going to claim that you're not entitled to emotional distress simply because information was leaked. All you're entitled to is, a free credit reporting for a couple of years. So the bottom line, as far as we're concerned, is that there's a lot of untested issues here, legal issues, that we'd like to resolve before we make some kind of a recommendation, a blanket recommendation to everybody that this happened to. And I apologize that this is taking longer than we had hoped, and to get some concrete information out to folks. I want to make sure that everybody does watch these videos and also checks back on the CRPA's CCW reference page, where we put all the information that we have as it develops on these cases. And one of those things we're going to post is the contact information for the law firm that has filed the class action, so that you can contact them directly and see what they think about whether or not you should stay in that class or not, or go out and file your own lawsuit. So we're filing a test case in LA County Court on behalf of a district attorney who went to great lengths to protect her private information, and then got revealed, she does death penalty cases, and she got revealed through the DOJ's leak And so we're going to see exactly how much we can get from the DOJ and fight the battles in that one test case rather than on behalf of everybody at the same time. Meanwhile, though, we have an administrative claim form. We don't know that it's necessary to file an administrative claim form, but we're recommending that people do, because if you don't, the DOJ will say you should have when they defend their cases or case. So we have a template claim form, sample claim form on our website. Administrative claim form is something you need to submit to the Office of General Administrative Law of the state in order to get what's called a right to sue letter. In other words, you have to exhausting your administrative remedies before you can file a lawsuit against the state. You submit a claim, you say, I've been damaged in this amount, and again, this is all contained in the sample that we have on the CRPA website. You submit that claim and they will almost certainly deny it, although we're in discussions with them just to say they should be offering something to anybody who submits a claim. But once they deny it, then you can sue. So it's a procedural hurdle that you want to get out of the way, and you can do that right now. And we've made it as simple as possible by putting instructions and the sample up there on the website. I'm begging people, submit that claim form. Even if they deny it, it gets rid of an argument that you or your lawyer, if you hire one, will have to make if you decide to file a solo lawsuit in your own name. And we will again be putting up all the materials that lawyers need to show them samples of what we're doing, so that because there's 300,000 people almost that had their information released. One firm can't do that. You need local firms everywhere. So I'm advising people to go talk to lawyers and let them know what's going on and see if they can help you. Because if we can get enough damages, if we can get enough, if we can open up the DOJ to vulnerability for the emotional distress that it has caused people, that will go a long way towards making it worthwhile to hire a lawyer. If not, then there's a small claim action, which any individual can file. You don't need a lawyer. In fact, lawyers aren't allowed. And we will have the information on how to do that up on the website too. So these choices are all laid out on the CRPA reference page. And everybody, I'm encouraging people, if nothing else, just file the small claim. It's $10 to file it, and make the DOJ come on down and defend it. You can, at least in small claims court, you can claim up to $10,000 in damages. I don't think DOJ should get off the hook on this, but I know that everybody was initially thinking class action. But because of the different levels of emotional distress, different types of different causes of emotional distress, some people being more vulnerable than others, some people being more of a target than others, you can't have a class action for emotional distress when the emotional distress claim is not common among all class members.
It seems important to make that distinction too. You know, you're basically talking about taking one big swing with a sword for a kill shot versus, you know, death by 1,000 cuts here. But nothing in this arena or this community is going to be given freely. So, you know, CRPA is trying to provide as much resources as possible. You got to do your due diligence, whichever path you take. I think that's what's definitely most important here. We need to realize that we can change things by taking action, but you need to, you need to take your due diligence in doing that. We'll definitely keep an eye out. We're going to be updating on these things on the CRPA website. Check the links below so that you can follow along with this stuff. And for all of you at home, guys, the CRPA channel is growing, and this is great news. But still, 64% of the people watching these videos are not subscribed. If that happens to be you, go ahead, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. We're getting the message out. We want to get it out even more. So thank you for all your help with the growth. Let's keep on pushing forward. We'll see you guys for another one soon.